this video, we're going to look at how you can manage connections, i.e. how builders or a Buildxact user can find you within their system as a supplier, how they can connect with you, how you can approve them, and how that process works. Then in the second half, we're going to look at the reverse process, how you as the supplier or dealer can invite your customers and connect with them. So first half is how the builders start the connection. Second half is how you as the supplier start that connection. Now, to do this properly, we're going to start from the builder or Buildxact user's account, and we're going to go from the integrations screen. Now, at the time of recording, the integrations and supplier integration screen in my account, I've got a mix of both live and demo accounts. So just to note, the ones you're looking at, not all of these are legitimate suppliers, as you can see with things like Buildxact sales. Beautiful. So the first thing to note is the Buildxact user will be promoted by us or suggested by us to go into the supplier integrations. We do our own suggestions to our users to say, hey, go and find merchant pricing. So there's a bit of push already for them to jump into this section. They will go through, and the intention here is for them to go, oh, wow, I'm a customer of D&C Timber. I'll connect with them and get the process going. Little side note is down the bottom, we also have this initiative where if the Buildxact user doesn't see their supplier here, we're wanting them to invite. So if you perchance have got an email from us at Buildxact saying so-and-so builder is inviting you to connect and collaborate, this is where it came from. And it should be explaining the process and ultimately putting you in touch with one of our supplier or dealer reps. But what I'm going to do is go, hey, I'm a customer of D&C Timber, connect. And me as the builder, I have a couple of steps here. First of all of my generic information is filled out from my business details. So if you ever get a customer saying, I went to connect with you and all my information's wrong, it's probably because their account is not set up properly. They would need to update it under my business and business details. The only thing they actually have to fill out here is the customer number. And in another video, we talk about how this is changeable. So some suppliers use customer number, some use card number, some use registered email, some don't really have a system, and hence we have to use something like email that you have registered with us. But we need something unique so that the client or your client, our Buildxact user, can enter this. And the reason this is so important is when it comes through to your account, this is the number that helps you match the person and figure out who they are. Also, especially if we go down the road of pre-approving people for specific price lists, which I will talk more about, then this is the number that we use to basically do that pre-approval. So this is a very important number for us. Great, so I'll submit that. The builder will see, great, that's requested. And I'll jump across to the supplier account now. You will get a little pop-up or a little notification on clients. And it's because you have active connections. So I'll go into connections. I've got a whole string of rejected, connected. Note that I've done quite a number of tests in this account, so I've rejected people in the past. But I really have two options at this point. I can go to the requested ones. If you have a lot, I would recommend filtering via these little tick boxes to show only requested. But your options are approve or decline. You can click on the business name and find out more about them. It'll go into their client file. Note that when you are connecting with this person, we will be pulling their information through and adding a client to your Buildxact account for you. So we'll go approve. And we'll show two things here. One is the Buildxact user back in their account will now get a little notification. That'll prompt them to come back into this screen and see that they're connected. A very key part of the process is that they subscribe to the lists. So the default state for them will be all the lists available to them, and they choose which ones to subscribe to. So we, in our educational content, promote this a lot, that they need to be aware of it. We recommend you do the same. But the idea here is that you might be promoting or sharing 20 lists, 30 lists to a given builder, and they might go, look, I only want 3 of them. And they actually have the option to choose. When they do subscribe to that, the catalogs literally just drop into their catalog area. So you can see I've got DNC Timbers RRP list that's showing up here. And that is the process complete. There is more to cover though from the merchant or supplier or dealer end of the equation. So things that we need to look at here are a little bit extra around how do you share specific pricing with a client, and what controls do you have over that client's connection. So if I go client and I go and find JNRZ, which I can go connections and click here, or I can go clients and search for him. There's multiple ways to do the same thing. You will see his details, which has all been pulled through. Some of this is changeable, some of it's not. Connection management is the part I'm really interested in, because this shows his status, he's actively connected. It shows the lists that I hold that I haven't given him access to, and it shows the lists he has access to. Note, this doesn't mean anything for whether he's subscribed to them or not. It's purely what's available to him. So this is one point. You can absolutely grant access to catalogs this way. And when you are initially sharing catalogs to people, this is a really easy way to start doing it. What this means is if you have several managed lists, let's say tier 1 lists, you can go through the list here, which you might have several, and go share this one, share this one, share this one, grant access, and choose which list that person has access to. You can also revoke access the same way, which I'll show you now. Remove access rather. And this is also a very useful section if people actually move between tiers. So they move from tier 2 to tier 1. You can remove tier 2 lists, give access to tier 1 lists. And what that will mean is that builder has more, or Buildxact user has more lists on offer. As we talked about in another video, when new lists become available to them, they still have to choose to subscribe to them. So what that means is if you share a list or give access to a list, they don't automatically have a subscription to it. They have to choose to subscribe to that list. Another point on the connection management piece is if I go to a particular catalog, let's say, so this one is managed and published. That's perfect. Any managed list will have access control. And what this is a basically a list of pre-approved people with access to this list. Now, the client settings override this. If you remove someone's access, they will get removed from here. But this is a really easy way to bulk load someone's access. So if you have a database where you say these 300 people are tier 1 and you can download a list of their customer numbers, then you can import an Excel spreadsheet with that list of customer numbers. And it means that when that customer connects to you and you approve their connection, they're pre-authorized to get this list. It will work the same whether they're not yet connected to you or they are connected. Loading this list will basically give them approval to have this. It is literally the exact same thing as going one by one through the clients and going grant access, grant access, grant access. It's just a bulk way of doing it. Lovely. So let's now talk about the other side of the coin. where you want to invite a client. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove access for JNRZ. So let's do that right now. So we're back into the builder's account. I'm actually going to disconnect him. Well, he's going to disconnect himself, more to the point. And I'm going to go into them as a client, connection management. And now this is an interesting one because I previously connected with him. So it's actually not going to let me initiate the connection again. And this is an interesting point to make. I can't reinitiate this connection because I previously connected with him. If he was in the scenario where he wants to reconnect, you would be best to advise that builder to go into their integrations and connect with you, and then you can say yes to that connection. So that's a very good example to cover. The example I'm going to do, however, is this one. Connection management. Yeah, perfect. This one's not being connected. So you can invite this client, and there is a very, very key thing, actually two key things that I want to mention here. When inviting a client, it'll ask for their customer number, which could be different if you've changed your unique identifier. It'll ask for their email. It'll ask for business name, etc. Now, the email is the most significant thing here. Within a Buildxact account, we use email, and I'm going to go back to the builder's account for this. We use email under My Business and Business Account, Business Details here as what's called the registered email. This is our identifier for this account. And when we're connecting an account to another account, this is the email we need to use. So if you're inviting someone, it is critically important that you know what their registered email is and put it in here. Sending an invite to an email address that is not that registered email will never have a successful connection because it's not a real account. Similarly, inviting a registered email that has an expired account won't work. So when you're doing this, there's a few things that you would want to be aware of. One is, A, do I have the right email? And B, does that email actually contain a live subscription to Buildxact? If you tick both those boxes and you go yes and yes, it's a real account, and it's the registered email for a real account, and that account is active, then you'll be able to successfully connect with them. But those two things are the most common pitfalls in this area. When you go and connect with them, we go back to the builder's account again, they will get a notification here, and they will get you brought up to the My Suppliers area, and they basically have to approve the connection for you. So it's literally the exact reverse. You've initiated the connection. You say, yes, I want to connect. And once that happens, they have visibility to then choose which lists they want to subscribe to. You're fully connected with them. You can choose to share extra lists with them. Once that connection's made, it works very much as per usual. If you have any headaches with this or any questions, do let us know, and we can look into specific issues that you may be having. But hopefully that's given you some clarity about the different scenarios of both a builder initiating a connection with you and you as the supplier or dealer initiating the connection with your builder or Buildxact user. Thanks very much.